Hey, it's another episode of the DNA Show, the All Carolina Panthers podcast. And today, as always, Mr. Donnie, Mr. Anthony, DNA. See what we did there? It's the name of the show. And hey, we always keep pounding, especially after this week. This week, we are talking Carolina Panthers at Cincinnati Bengals. Man, that's how we're starting that one off. So, initial reaction, Donnie, that game ended 42-21, and some would say probably not even that close. One of the worst, most embarrassing losses in games played in Panthers history, I would say. um, First reaction for the way this team played.
Damn, it was bad. It was a tough one to watch, and I'm not gonna lie. I think I told you this too. Like the way I viewed it, man. I just when I was watching the game, I was like, all right, I'm gonna force myself to watch it so way I can go through the lows and work my way up to the highs in the future. And I watched it. There's times I just looked away. Like it was like 30. I think they scored like 35 points on us in the first half, man. I was
Yeah,
just damn tough to
yeah.
watch, bro. They were doing the fucking remember Titans dancing in the end zone and shit, doing all this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
and
terrible.
Mixon ended up having one hell of a game, 4 touchdowns. But yeah, it was brutal, brutal. I don't get it. And starting off with PJ Walker, who started the game, didn't finish the game, but man, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. Um, but before we get too deep into it, that's who we'll start with is PJ Walker and the day that he started to have a little bit of help towards the end. So on offense as a whole, this week we did a comparison just to show the difference. Total plays our offense had was 48. In parentheses, you'll see how many Bengals had 72, almost doubling. Total yards, we had 228. Bengals walked away that day with 464. We both have 11 drives. We both had 11 drives. And to match that and then to be that behind in the rest of the stats, that's unbelievable. Continue to struggle third down. Third down efficiencies, 2 for 8. And they were 6 for 10. Passing yards as a total, 164 to their 223. Not too bad of a difference. Here's the big one. Rushing only ended up with 64. Ended up with 241, almost 250 yards of rushing. In the red zone, we were 3 for 3. Every time we got there, we scored. Yeah, and they said, well, yeah, hold my beer, because every time they went there, they scored as well. They were double that. They were 6 for 6. Man, 3 turnovers to their 0. Not good at all. So that's us as a whole on offense. Our offensive stars, if you want to call them that. PJ finished today 19 of 36. Um, I believe that is from last week. I will have to change that. So mistake there. He didn't have that many yards. It says 317. I think that was last week. I didn't didn't have the chance to change it. So forgive me on my mistakes. We will change
It's
that
been a
right
rough
now.
season.
Yeah, it's a rough season. It shows. Dang it. So, but we'll fix that. PJ Walker, Baker Mayfield. He ended up 14-21, 155 yards, 7.8 average, 2 touchdowns. Um, he came in and kind of saved the day there. Um, let's see, real quick. PJ Walker, but yeah, Donnie, tell me the quarterback performance, the difference between PJ and Baker. Your thoughts there?
Well, I mean, when Baker came in, I mean, he did provide like a little bit of a spark. He got in the end zone, and honestly, it was the best he's looked since week one. But at the same time, I mean, they weren't playing as competitive because they were already up by like more than one score, like somewhat midway late through the game. I will say this though, man. I hate to deflect the question, but I will say this, man. I'm very excited to see what TMJ can do, Terrence Marshall Jr. could do. Um,
Yeah,
he ended up making, he ended up high pointing a really good pass against the Bengals. Um, but as far as PJ goes, man, he's kind of like one of those weird things. It's one of those weird things because there's times where he'll actually like ball out and like he did against the Falcons the first time we played him, of course, the second time we played him. And there's games like the Bengals where I think his passer rating was like zero. It was in the zero. It was like I think it was a zero or something like that. If I read that correctly, or if I can remember correctly.
yeah,
I just don't get it. It doesn't really make sense to me. Um, how he goes 1 week from playing to some people. Some people even argued and went so far as to say that PJ could be the future. I wouldn't go that far, and I
Ooh,
never went
oh,
that.
yeah, I wouldn't do that. So
You go from that, and then 1 week you're subbed out for Baker Mayfield, who was actually benched for PJ Walker.
yeah,
Um, that's correct. It's a weird thing, man. And obviously, this is the first time I've said this as a Panthers fan ever. I've always let the pride of being a Panthers fan as I wear it right here, but the pride of being a Panthers fan has always gotten in the way of me being realistic sometimes. Like this year, it's the first time I've had to say I've matured a lot as far as when it comes to these Panthers that we're not playing for anything right now besides just trying to finish out strong.
yeah,
We're very consistent. That goes all the way from quarterback play to offensive production and defensive production. There's one game where the defense plays lights out, and then next week we're getting gashed in the run game.
yeah,
And I just think we need identity. I don't really put much blame on Steve Wilkes. He's just kind of dealt a bad hand. I'm going off the rails here, but there's really not much to take away from Baker and PJ. I doubt both will be here next year.
yeah.
So just
Uh,
don't. I really don't have a feeling on it, man. It's weird.
well, I want to come back to that. You're talking about what we're playing for the end of for the end of the year, but there's updated stats for you. It's almost comical. PJ Walker 3 for 10, 9 yards, 2 interceptions. Good deal. But moving on. Um, the defense ended up giving up 464 yards total and 42 points. 223 to passing. Is that right? Oh, if that's right. Let's see. I'm having a day. You see, this win has screwed us all up.
It's all
241 rushing, 6 for 6 in the red zone. But Shaq Thompson did lead the team with 10 tackles, and we ended up with 2 sacks. Um, man, a lot to build off here, a lot to think about, a lot to everything. But yeah, it's this one was
there's
a
not
tough
much
one.
to say.
Yeah, there's not much to say
Like
this
like what
kind
do
of
we?
kind of thing. Yeah,
There's ain't saying shit, but like what is there to say? What
yeah,
positive takeaway was? We went to Cincinnati, and don't feel bad. I mean, what like I said, what do we have to say? We went to Cincinnati and got our asses spanked. We didn't get whooped. We got our asses spanked.
yeah,
That's I'm talking spanking is like no belt. That's a whooping. We got spanked,
yeah,
which is more humiliating.
yeah.
So don't feel bad. I don't got shit to say neither. I just sit here the whole time and just I'm dang.
Yeah, it's a tough one. This was one of those games where it's tough to even get on here and talk about. But as always, we're gonna keep pounding. It's meant
Yeah,
more now than ever. So um, yeah, this is gonna be a really short one for us. Yeah, there's not much to say. There's nothing good look of it. It's all bad. Maybe next week is a recording of this. We got the Falcons Thursday night football. Hoping to shine there. That's where We see the new uniforms, new black uniforms, all black helmets. Should be good. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Um, but now more than ever, that saying has to ring true, and Wilkes really has to get in that locker room and tell them, hey, yeah, you guys need to keep pounding and really lift their spirits. This is where he really the coaching of him has to come out in this one. But before I let you go, before our final thoughts, I want to remind everyone you can always find us Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Don Ant Show, Facebook and YouTube, the Donnie and Anthony Show. Follow us all there. So, last thoughts, Donnie. Final thoughts on the well. First off, I told you I want to bring it back to it. The whole and they have more of an argument now than ever after this game, but the whole tanking on purpose thing. Speak on that, and then after that, give us your final thoughts on this game.
Tanking, man, to me, I've always thought tanking is selling your soul to the devil.
Mm,
You're just going there and you're just laying down and you're
mm,
sacrificing for some people to believe to be for the greater good of the team. But look how many first round draft picks, specifically in the top 10, the Jets have had over the last 10 years.
yeah.
What good has it done them? I mean, it's finally hitting home because now they have finally started hitting on draft picks. So you're always that first pick is that top 10 pick is never going to be guaranteed to be a top tier talent. Right now, of course, it's too early on to say, but Trevor Lawrence was a number one overall draft pick, and he is struggling right now. Like
Yeah.
he's not playing up to the number one overall level. So it's going to take them another year or so to get ready. So like
Mm-hmm.
taking men, I've never liked it because you're telling a bunch of grown ass men to say, all right, try but don't try. Like make
Right.
it look fine but don't try.
Right.
That's like most of us have watched The Longest Yard. That's some Paul Cruz shit. Like throwing the game. No one wants to watch that. Like if I'm a player, me personally, if I'm a player, I would get offended if a coach said, "Hey man, don't go out there and try,"
Yeah.
because if I'm warming up, if I'm a player and I'm warming up and I look up there in the stands and I see people wearing my jerseys, like damn,
Mm,
that's I got to give them 100%
yeah.
because we don't know when they'll come back or when they'll see me play in person. What a horrible fucking impersonation or my fault impression I would make on someone who bought my jersey or came specifically to watch me play in a Panthers uniform, and for me to go out there and just don't try to get off a block or run half-assed through my routes or don't protect the quarterback, have no demeanor. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love Kobe so much. No matter how
Mm,
bad the Lakers and Kobe always played his heart out. Same thing with Steve Smith. There wasn't no tanking in Steve Smith. This
mm-hmm.
tanking shit, third man. Especially like specifically defensive linemen. And here's why I say that. Imagine telling a defensive lineman, "Hey man, just get bulldozed out there in front of
Yeah.
millions of people."
Yeah.
So that's the way I think of it, man. I just think taking is ridiculous. And I don't think we should. I think good things happen to good people eventually, and um, I trust this. I trust this front office now post Matt Rule, for Scott Fitter to make the right moves. Would it be nice to get a top 5 pick? Sure. I mean, of course it's nice, but I mean, I don't want to sell my soul to get there. So as far as my final thoughts, game against the Bengals was very tough to watch, and I mean, I did watch it from start to finish. But I did it for a reason because I want to see what it's like to go through the mud one more time. We've done it, and I want to see what it's like to rise up from the ashes like Phoenix would, just bloom after. So, a lot of things we need to correct, which is not going to happen this season. There's like less than a 5% chance I think we make the playoffs.
Yeah.
At least finish out strong, but this team is inconsistent and it really doesn't have much of an identity. Like I said, one week the offense is blossoming, and then the next week we don't, and then the defense blossoms, and the next week they just get gashed.
Yep.
I can't really put much blame on Steve Wilkes because he's dealt a horrible hand. But listen, man, people can call it corny all they want to. We got to keep pounding, like because the moment we stop is the moment we contradict everything this organization was built from. I know everyone's
Yeah.
like, well, you need to fucking okay. Well, we just like I said, I don't know, man. Just take pride in your work. I'm sure we don't always look forward to getting up every morning and punching the clock. There's some days where we're not as prideful
Yeah.
as we are on other days, but at the end of the day, we do it because not we have to fend for ourselves and we have to make our make ends meet and just take pride in your work, man. So that's all I really have to say about it. It probably sounds corny, but you just have to look at it from a realistic standpoint. So
Yeah. Well said, man. Well said. Well put. I, yeah, I don't think you can say it any better than you just did. That's spoken like a true Panthers fan, spoken like a true man.
appreciate it, man.
Um, I wish everyone else thought the way you did. Yeah, I, it's like you just handed me the mic 8 Mile and said, "Tell these people something they don't know about me," and I ain't got shit to say. I'm sitting there like Papa Doc. I'm just like, "Yo," and I'm just gonna hand it. Yeah, so he kind of took it all from me. Well said. Well said. Only thing I can really add to it is, um, what what uh what message does that send to your locker room if the head coach goes there and says that, well, guys, we need to, kind of, figure it out. Um, you know, I don't know. What kind of message does that send to your locker room if you're telling these guys who have competed their entire life? See, that's the people that say all this tanking stuff that they've never competed. They've never, you've never been in a locker room. Go tell a powerful high school in Florida or Texas or California. Go tell those guys to tank. um, I know they're not playing for first round, a draft or anything, but these guys, every single person in the NFL, they have been competing their entire lives to get to the main stage, and they're there. Yeah, go tell them the tank. They're, they're gonna look at you like what? um, and that's who they are. You mentioned Kobe. That was a great comparison. Yeah, go tell him to tank. That dude, that dude was so competitive. That's just kind of a bad thing to say, but if he could have jumped out of that helicopter and freaking and moved that mountain himself, he would have. That's how competitive he was at life, and protect his daughter and everything. RP to the man. But um, yeah. And side note, watch we've talked about it, Donnie. Those listening, watch it slips my mind, but it's about the Olympic. Oh, the Redeem Team on Netflix. The difference he made. Um, now the guys in the NFL, that's a league full of guys like that. They're all competitive and tanking in those guys. Um, so, but man, well said though, Donnie. Final thoughts. Huh. Improvement needs to be made. These boys need to keep pounding, and that's what we're going to do. At the end of the day, we're going to keep pounding. So, hey, next week Falcons again. Can it be a redeemed team there? I think so. I think they got it, and we're all blacked out on Thursday Night Football, prime time on the main stage, on the main stage, in the main stage, on the main stage. Hey, all day on any stage, you and I, we're gonna scream it out, baby. Tell them.
Keep pounding, man.
Keep pounding as always. Next week at the Falcons on primetime television, all black uniforms. Keep pounding.